So now that we've changed the clocks, so we got many shuls throughout North America that we do what we call early Shabbos. That's colloquial early Shabbos. As we all know, early Shabbos is every week because there's a mitzvah in our Torah of Tosefes Shabbos. That's the custom of 18 minutes before sunset. In Yerushalayim, 30 or 40. But as long as you bring in Shabbos before sunset, you are making early Shabbos. That's halachic early Shabbos. When we talk about colloquial early Shabbos, we mean in the summer, people don't want to wait to, right now it's still not so bad, but you don't want to wait to 8, 9 o'clock, or whatever time it may be. So therefore, we bring in Shabbos early. And the Gemara tells us in Brachos, Rav Soli Shel Shabbos Be'erev Shabbos. Rav brought in Shabbos early. The great Rav, he used to make Kiddush, daven and make Kiddush early. So we know all year round we bring in Shabbos. You don't have to, but all year round we could bring in Shabbos early, and not only bring in Shabbos early, but make Kiddush. So the question is, what about Leil Pesach? What about the night of Pesach? It's all about the kids, isn't it? You don't believe that. It's all about the kids. So now with the change of clock, it's so late. What kids? It is all about the kids. They're sleeping and you can have a good Seder. What do they mean by that? But it's so, of all nights, would you think you want to bring in Pesach early? Like Pesach, now I think it's 7:45 is like, is candlelighting or somewhere around there, I'm not even sure. But so you would think of all nights, if we know you're allowed to bring in early Shabbos, we do it all year round, what about Leil Pesach? That would be the night that you'd want it. It's going to be a long meal, a long Seder, why not start early? So look in the Shulchan Aruch. The Shulchan Aruch says one cannot bring in early Yontif, and there's no fundamental difference between Shabbos and Yontif in terms of bringing in early. There are certain types of Yom Tovim for other reasons we can't make it early. Either we're waiting for Tzviras Omer to finish, or we have to wait for some other technical reason. But fundamentally, there's a mitzvah of Tosefes Yontif the way there is Tosefes. There's no difference between Pesach and Shabbos. One's Yontif and one's Shabbos. That's not an issue. Yet the Shulchan Aruch says, one cannot bring in, one has to wait until nightfall. So the question is why? Why is it different than all year round? Why do we have to wait on Leil Pesach? So there's a fundamental dispute between the Magen Avram and the Taz on why we have to wait. So the Magen Avram says as follows. There's a pasuk regarding Karban Pesach that we know Karban Pesach, we did the preparations during the day and then we ate it at night. So, and also by matzah, it says be'erev tochu matzahs v'achlos abasa b'layla. I said that the Tosfos in the beginning of Arei Psachim brings down to different psukim, and therefore we see that one has to wait until night for Karban Pesach matzah. So the Magen Avram so that's clear. Matzah and Karban Pesach, that's biblical. But how do I know I have to wait for other mitzvahs? That's what the Magen Avram says. The Magen Avram says it's not only limited to matzah, but all the mitzvahs halayla, all the mitzvahs we're doing tonight, also must be done at nighttime. You can't do it early like the matzah. It's patterned after the matzah. It's called Tikkun D'Rabbanan Ke'in D'Oraisa. We patterned the rabbinic laws after the biblical, and therefore the Magen Avram says that one also, since Kiddush is one of the 4 cups, so you have to do the mitzvah of drinking 4 cups on the night of Pesach. One cannot do it before Laila. So it comes out, according to the Magen Avram, Kiddush isn't any different. Really, in theory, one can make Kiddush early Leil Pesach. The only problem is that you're not going to gain much from it because you can make Kiddush early, okay, but now when it comes to the night of Pesach, you got to drink another cup of wine. Either we could just, whether you make a bracha or not a bracha, but it doesn't help you. You might be Yotzei Kiddush, but you're still going to have to wait in order to, and you can't get out of it because every year Kiddush is part of the first. Kiddush is always the first cup, so you might fulfill Kiddush, but since you can't fulfill your mitzvah of the cup, So therefore you have to wait until nighttime. That's what the Magen Avram writes. And the Taz disagrees. In fact, Tosfos even extends it further. Tosfos says not only do we learn out from matzah the beginning, but when do we have to eat the afikoman by? It's a machokas in the Gemara. We try to finish it by chatzos. So Tosfos says not only the matzah, but all the mitzvahs you have to be finished by chatzos. So, people, especially kids, some adults as well, people, the next day, like Tuesday morning, my Seder went to 3 o'clock, mine went to 2, everyone's talking about how late the Seder went. So Rav Shechter used to always say over, so his kids used to say, my Seder ended at 12 o'clock, or whenever Chatzos was. He was machmir like the Bali Tosfos, that one has to finish all the mitzvahs hayom before Chatzos. Don't worry, you could sing Yichag Gadja, the other stuff after, but in terms of drinking the 4 cups, saying the Hallel, that has to be done by Chatzos. So either way, that's the Magen Avram. Kiddush works, but the problem is, Kiddush is one of the 4 cups of wine, and therefore you'd have to drink it over again. Hence the Shulchan Aruch says one has to wait until nightfall. The Taz has a totally different reason why you have to wait. He says you can't make Kiddush early. Magen Avram says you can make Kiddush early, it just doesn't help you. The Taz says you can't make Kiddush early. It's a meaningless Kiddush, it's a bracha levatala, you'd have to make Kiddush over again. Why? Because we have a principle in the Gemara of Kiddush b'makam suda. That it's not enough to make Kiddush, but you have to make Kiddush in the place you're going to eat. Whether it's a din d'Rabbanan, din d'Oraisa, but you need Kiddush b'makam suda. So to fulfill your mitzvah of Kiddush, you have to make Kiddush in the place where you're going to eat. So it comes along the Taz, and the Taz says, not only does Kiddush b'makam suda mean you have to make Kiddush in the place where you're going to eat, but you got to make Kiddush in a time where it's fit to eat the meal. It has to be roi. So since, what is the meal? The meal is the matzah. So since we have a pasuk telling us we can't eat the matzah until nightfall, and that's the Suda, so if I make Kiddush before nightfall, I'm not Yotzei Kiddush. I'm lacking in Kiddush b'makam Suda. Normally Kiddush b'makam Suda means I have to do it. If I make Kiddush here, I have to eat my meal here, not go somewhere else. But the Taz says not only does it mean that, but in addition, you have to make Kiddush in the time where you can fulfill the meal. Since you can't eat the meal until nighttime, hence it's a no-go. So it's a fundamental machlokas. The Shulchan Aruch agrees you can't make Kiddush early, or you can't eat the meal in early Leil Pesach. According to the Magen Avram, it's because it's it's always the first of the 4 cups, and you have to wait for all the mitzvahs of Yom have to be eaten between, nightfall and chatzos. And the Taz says there's nothing to do with it. I'm not worried about the first cup or not. I'm worried about Kiddush. So the nafkamina is, according to the Magen Avram, you yotzei Kiddush, but you still have to drink another cup. According to the Taz, you're not even yotzei Kiddush. There is a Tosfos Harash sheet that writes that no, even Leil Pesach you could do it. Even Leil Pesach you could bring in Yontiv early. We don't paskin like him, but what's the issue whether you can or not? What is the Tosfos Harash saying? It gets into a fundamental question of what is Tosefes Shabbos? When I bring in Shabbos early, what does that mean? Does that mean it's like, it's no longer Friday, it's Shabbos? No, it's still Friday, but the chiddush of Tosefes Shabbos is I could start doing the mitzvahs hayom. So the Tosfos Harash clearly learns the former, that when I bring in Shabbos or bring in Yontiv, it transforms the day, and you're right, you have to eat matzah on Pesach, but it is Pesach. Tosefes Yontiv makes it into the next day, while the others assume not. It comes up, let's say Rav Shlomo Zalman, let's say people are eating in a assisted living, old age home, and people can't stay up so late. They can, so obviously, if it could be arranged where, let's say, it depends how late, if they're eating the meal at 5:30, it's not going to make much of a difference. You're not going to get help. But let's say, at least minimally, I think Prague, I didn't check what time Prague HaMincha is, but I think Prague HaMincha is about 6:30, 6:40. I mean, over Pesach time. So assuming, so again, this is so minimally speaking, if you're not going to wait anyway, if you could try to at least have the matzah and the mitzvah, you could think that you could start off with the chagaja, echad miyodei. You could do all that important stuff first and try to push it off as late as possible. But in certain kinds you have no choice. But obviously, l'chatchila, you have to wait until nightfall. But I'm saying people who aren't going to wait till nightfall or can't, then the question is, how do you minimize it? Do you rely on the Tosas Harash? You try to do other things, at least do the other parts of the Seder first, so therefore by the time at least they get to the quote-unquote more important parts, that it's maybe at least, sunset or something, or nightfall. That's the first difference. The first difference between Kiddush Leil Shabbos and Kiddush Leil Pesach is Kiddush Leil Shabbos can be made early. Kiddush Leil Shabbos, all year round we make Kiddush early. But Kiddush Leil Pesach, we don't make early, either because we can't do it because it's one of the mitzvahs hayom and we have to wait until nightfall, or according to the Taz, you're not Yotze Kiddush because you need Kiddush b'makam suz. That's our first nafkamina. Are we stopping here, or are we going on to a second? You have time for another one? Okay. We have a lot more than two, but at least we'll go to two, and then we'll take it from there. So the second nafkamina is as follows. What's another difference? The question is, who has to drink from the cup? So we know all year round, what does the Gemara tell us? The Gemara in Eruvin, Hamavarech Sarech Sheyitom. The one who makes the Kiddush has to drink from the cup of wine. So there's three levels. I'm going from ideal to less ideal. The first shot is the one who makes the Kiddush should be the one drinking the requisite. We'll get what the requisite amount is. But the one who's making the Kiddush has to drink the requisite amount. If he can't, then give it to someone else in the crowd who should drink the requisite amount. That's choice number two. And choice number three is everyone has a shot glass and shtiyas kula and mistarfin. You add up everyone together, and that's the goal. So again, number one is you drink it yourself, the requisite amount. If you can't do it, you give it to someone else to do it. And if you can't have that option, you move to option three, where if everyone has a little bit, so then as long as the total that's consumed at the table is the requisite amount, so then it's a go. I didn't say what the requisite amount is, but whatever it is, that's the principle. I don't want to confuse you by telling you the amount. That will get into nafkamina number three. So that's the Gemara that we know that the one. So how do we paskin? So that's how we paskin. Every Friday night, that's the halacha. There is no obligation on anyone else to drink from the wine except the one who is making kiddush. So strictly speaking, I make the kiddush. You listen. You do not. Of course, it depends what I'm making it over. If I'm making it over the good stuff that Dave brings over, then of course everyone's going to want to drink. What I'm saying is, but putting that aside, from a halachic point of view, there is no obligation. There's nothing wrong. It's a nice hiddur to drink from it, but you can fulfill your mitzvah of kiddush by not drinking any wine. If you're going to drink wine, you're better off drinking from Shabbos morning kiddush than Friday night, because Shabbos morning, again, we paskin me'ikar din, you probably don't have to, but the briskers are, some are more machmer by Shabbos morning that you have to drink. Even though we don't paskin, we assume even Shabbos morning you're fine, but either way, that's the halacha. You don't have to drink Friday night. The one who makes the kiddush does the drinking. So the question is Leil Pesach any different? So, usually you begin Kadesh. That's Kiddush. That's how we begin the Seder. So, can one person drink for everybody? So that's a Tosas right. Maishna Kiddush, Leil Pesach, mi Kiddush Kol Hashana. Why not? Why should the Kiddush tonight of Pesach be any different than the Kiddush all year round? This is like all year round. one person drinks, everyone watches. So too here. At least Tosfos in the Havamina says it. That and the Rambam disagrees. The Rambam writes, everybody has to drink. It's not, that's the way we pass. We pass like the Rambam, that it's not enough to watch me drink. You have to drink your own cup. So what's the machlokas between Tosfos and the Rambam? Why does Tosfos say that one person could drink for everyone like Kiddush, and the Rambam says everyone has to drink? What's the issue at hand? What's in the Kudas HaMachlokas? So the issue is, the Brisker Rav explains, is what is the nature of the mitzvah of Dalet Kosos? There's a mitzvah of Dalet Kosos, the Leil Pesach. What exactly is the nature of that obligation? So Tosfos learns it's a kos shel bracha. Just like on Kiddush Friday night, we have to take we take a cup of wine. We want to make a boe we want to make a boe priyagafen and do it with chashivas. So we make it over a cup of wine. So it's really a kos shel bracha. So therefore the ikar is we want to make a blessing over the wine, and drinking's incidental. Once you make the bracha, you're going to drink, but that's not the main aspect. So Tosfos learns it's the same obligation Friday night Leil Pesach, and there's no obligation for one to drink as long as you hear 4 brachas. As long as you hear the 4 brachas over, the night of Pesach, so that's good enough. You don't actually have to drink at the cups. You just have to hear the Boy Pragafen and make sure the person who makes the bracha drinks. That's Tosfos. And the Rambam disagrees. The Rambam says that's not enough. All year round that's true. But the night of Pesach there's a chovas shtiyah. It's not enough to make a blessing over it because you have a commandment to drink from the cup. So therefore, the Rambam says, in the way we paskin, everyone has to drink the 4 cups of wine. So it comes out, actually, it's an interesting machlokas Svardim Ashkenaz. We all agree there are 4 cups. How many brachas do you make at the Seder? So we're all Ashkenaz here, so we're familiar with making 4 brachas. You make Boy Pragafen, one part of Kiddush, and then the 3 other times then you drink. The Svardim only make 2 Boy Pragafens at Kiddush, and then the 3rd cup. They don't make it 2 and 4. Why? Because they say, what do I need to? There's no hefsek. I'm involved in the meal. The Boy Pragafen, they agree you have to drink. You have to have 4 cups, but they don't say you have. So they go with the Rambam, or partially to go with the Rambam. It's a chovas shtiyah, that everyone has to drink the 4 cups, but nobody doesn't say you have to make 4 brachas. That's the Sephardi shita, that you drink 4 cups, but you only make 2 brachas. And we actually go together. We combine Tosfos and the Rambam, because we make 4 brachas and we drink 4 cups. But that's the machlokas. The machlokas Rambam is it's a chovas shtiyah. It's an obligation to drink. According to the Tosfos, it's an obligation to make a bracha over the kos. And therefore, so that's the second nafkamina, is that all year round we watch the person. There's no obligation to drink from the cup of wine. The night of Pesach, everyone has to drink. There's one more, since it's connected to this, is how much does one have to drink? So all year round, Friday night, how much you have to drink? So the luck is you just need a rov revius. In other words, the cup has to hold a revius. So let's assume on a mitzvah in a Torah 4.2 or 4.4, but either way 4.2. The cup you don't have to drink 4.2, and you have to drink rov revius. So let's assume it's 4.2. You have to drink 51. You only have to drink 51%. So whatever comes out, 2 point something. That's a rov revius. So let's say 4 ounces is a revius. So you got to drink a drop more than 2 ounces. So, but the cup has to hold. You can't make a kiddush over a 2-ounce cup. The cup has to hold. That's all year round. The kiddush cup has to be 4 ounces, and you only have to drink 51% of it. What about Leil Pesach? So that's the machlokas Tosfos and the Rambam. It's l'shitason. Tosfos says it's the same mitzvah Leil Pesach is all year round. It's a kosher bracha, and so too, you only have to, just like Tosfos says, only one person has to drink it, no one else. So too, Leil Pesach, the one who drinking only has to drink, 50%, 51%. And the Rambam says no, you have to drink the whole cup. Since it's a chova shtiya, we pass it like the Rambam, you have to drink the whole cup. But we have a principle, ruva kakuo. If you drink the majority, you still yotze. It's best to drink the whole cup, but if you can't drink the whole cup, minimally, some people just like taking a sip. That's a no-go. You have to at least drink 51% of the cup, and we view it as drinking the whole cup. So this machlokes, Rambam and Tosfos, is consistent with the view. The Tosfos who holds it's a bracha on the kos, so it's the same as Friday night, and therefore you only have to drink a rov revi'as. The Rambam who holds it's a chova shtiya, you're obligated to drink the cup. So if you have to drink a cup, you have to drink the whole cup, and this ruva kakua. So to summarize, so far we have three differences between Leil Pesach and Leil Shabbos regarding Kiddush. Kiddush all year round we can make early. Kiddush Leil Pesach we can't do early, either because it's the first of the 4 cups or because you're not yotze Kiddush from Makam Suda. Second difference is all year round only the one making Kiddush has to drink, but we pass like the Rambam on Leil Pesach everyone has to drink. And all year round, number 3, it's enough that the person making Kiddush only drinks a rov revi'as, 51% of the cup. But Leil Pesach is not enough. You have to drink the whole cup. That's why one should keep in mind, by Friday night, you could use a beer mug, you could use a 50-ounce cup. It doesn't make a difference. But Leil Pesach, it's best. I try to find a cup close to not more than a revi'as. You can't get exact, but if you can, you should try to get, don't use this 8-ounce cup, because then l'chatchila, you have to drink 8 ounces 4 times. So at least, try to get a little, whatever, 4.2, or even a 5-ounce, as close to a revi'as as possible. Again, I'm assuming that drinking less is better, depending your view on how much you can hold your alcohol on that. So that's the third nafkamina. We'll have to continue tomorrow night. What is the preferable drink? Is grape juice the preferable drink or wine? That will move us into a fourth nafkamina for tomorrow.